The business landscape is littered with mission-critical programs that have failed in execution. The same mistakes are repeated over and over again, and unfortunately, many of the same people do it again in the same company or elsewhere. But it can be wrong to blame individuals, because failure on mission-critical programs is mostly to do with how top management sets out its stall to run them, and in particular how they react to bad news. There's nothing wrong with having a can-do culture, it's really healthy, but to have a can-do culture which denies reality is extremely damaging on mission-critical programs.
Well, often when something has gone wrong, it's very easy to kind of point at the the kind of sponsor, the most affected director, the kind of person who's heading up the program. That's often an unfair criticism, because frankly, they were set up to fail. The sort of organisation structure around them, the way the culture of the organisation kind of forced them to behave, the compromises they were essentially forced to accept in doing that job meant they were never going to win. It was an inevitable result of how the company set its stall out. So I think, although it's easy, in a lot of cultures to say, right, that person's to blame, if we just get rid of him and replace him with somebody who knows what they're doing, we'll be fine. Actually, that's just not the case. You actually have to go back and say, okay, even if we have somebody good in the key role, as say as a sponsor or as a program director, we need to have an organisation around him that lets him or her do their job. You think about any large organisation, its functions have existed for years, decades, longer. Their ways of working, their behaviours, their cultures are very firmly established, and they have a very strong view of how you get things done. Now, introducing a superstar program director of whatever levels of talent and experience, unless you think carefully about it, that organism, that functional organism will just reject this newcomer, this interloper.
To overcome these challenges, which keep resurfacing, many companies turn to Mentor for experienced and independent advice on program execution.